and they can also learn from you.
The Real Platform is a knowledge-based institution. It's an organization that helps build each individual into change agents. Like when you get to spot a problem, you get to profile solution to the problem, and it has helped my life in such a way that I get to build relationships with people around me. I get to do things with zeal and with excellence as a goal.
I joined way back as a student, which is some 11 years ago. And I am still here, and nobody leaves whatever that works. So Real Platform works, and it has impacted me not just in my social life. I relate more with people, I learn how to manage people, I learn how to relate with people. All this is what you gain and you get when you relate and associate with the Center of Real Impact.
Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
To me, the Real Platform has been that air that I need to stand out as an individual and then as the person that aspire or look into the future.
The Real Platform is that organization that takes you from where you are, assesses where you want to be, and then directs you on how to get to where you want to be. And then it has impacted me in building my capacity. It's made me realize that knowledge is power, even though it's something I've heard a lot of times, and I've even thought it was cliche. But with the Real Platform, I've seen knowledge transform me to something I couldn't even imagine. There are some times where I didn't know I had the capacity to do something, but just little take-homes from our webinar and seminars, well practicalized, was able to make me achieve certain things I didn't really know I could achieve before.
The Enterprise and Innovation Development Summit is a place where people in business, professionals and leaders come together. They come to rub minds, they come to learn from each other, and they come to share ideas, they come to network, they come to see how we can try.
For me, EID Summit is always disruptive in the sense that they help to reconfigure your mind. Those people that come to teach us are not just telling us from the pages of the books. They are not making us clones of the authors, but rather they are sharing practicality of how they have been able to survive and grow their businesses to where it is.
So we watch them speak and talk about their experiences, and for me, if these people can do it, I know that I can do it too, and that one day we will get there. I'll get to be like them as long as I continue to persist.
Well, every year is different, but something is consistent. We get global change leaders to come and share their experience with us, and then there's something consistent, and that's process. You can't skip the process, and you need to build capacity.
So I have been able to listen, see, and hear from those people, those who have broken more grounds, those who have excelled and been in high places, who have gone through a lot of things. Gold needs to go through fire. Those who have gone through the fire to be who they are. So EID Summit is a place to be, a place where we get to learn.
It's been something that once you get to attend, you really don't go back the same person. Like, you come out with this fresh ideas suddenly because of those who have gone ahead of you, how they're able to,
Okay, good evening, everyone. How are you all doing tonight? I'm sure everyone can hear me loud and clear. So if you can hear me, use the chat button. Let's know where you are watching us from, you are listening to us from tonight. Use the chat button. Let's know which state and which country you rep tonight. I would appreciate that for everyone. Let's use the chat button tonight. We had a great section yesterday. Thank you, guys. And tonight we are about to take it to another level. But before we call in our guest speaker tonight, I would appreciate every one of us, let us share this link on our WhatsApp group, on our social media, just for the next 2 hours that will be live here. After the 2 hours, you can remove it. So guys, I need us to do that right away. So media, I would appreciate if you can help me put the link on our chat button right here on Zoom and also on our WhatsApp groups. Let us all go there right now. Let's share it and put it on our WhatsApp status, Facebook status, and Instagram status just for a few minutes. Put it on your stories just for a few minutes so that people can join us. I need us to double this number. See, we have so much content that we are dishing out in this place that we need the world to hear us, and the world will not hear us if we don't blow our trumpet ourselves. So guys, join to blow this trumpet with us this evening. Every one of you, I like you just to do that right now as the media are posting right now. Just go to your status, put the link on your status so people can just click it in and just join it. You can use the Zoom link or use the YouTube link because we are also live on YouTube tonight. Thank you, media. I've seen the YouTube link. I also want to see the Zoom link also. So I see every one of you from UK, Dumi from UK, Whitney from NSW, Mr. Victor from Abuja, Alima from Nasarawa, you all are welcome, and I can assure you that we are going to have a great time tonight. Dr. Kikelomo from Lagos State, yeah, TRP from UK, Bridget from Abuja, and Patient from Abuja. Yes, awesome. Yeah, we see people from Kogi also repping. Mr. Buhari from Kogi, Mr. Abeje, Mr. Raf, good to see you from Abuja. Uchena Joseph from Enugu State, yeah, good to see Enugu family. Yes, guys, let's ensure that we do this right now. Remind someone, remind your friends, remind your family member, tell them that we are already live. There are many team members that are not here online. Go to your team members group and put the link right now. Tell them to come up online and join the meeting. And after the video you'll be playing right now, after the video, you'll be hearing the voice of our guest speakers. Thank you.
Kunle Jo Komolafe, KJK as he is fondly called, is the lead strategist of the KJK Development Systems, a leadership, strategy development, and peak performance consulting organization. He is also the founder of the Center for Real Impact International, a non-government organization that bridges the gap between the dreams and its realization of her audience. A distinguished, multidimensional, and seasoned speaker, leadership, and peak performance strategist who has over 20 years built relevance from a humble beginning. He places premium on the art of development and mastery and strongly believes that anyone, any organization or nation can become her dream if key skills are fostered. His passion for human capital advancement and as a resourceful speaker in diverse areas of human needs and cogent matters has given him several opportunities to take keynote sessions, speak and facilitate programs at various platforms, conferences, organizations, cities, and groups. Ladies and gentlemen, with a standing ovation, let us give a warm, Real Platform homecoming welcome to the founder of the Center for Real Impact International, Kunle Jo Komolafe.
Thank you so much, guys. It's awesome and interesting, you know, the way, yeah, thank you, Patience. The way the media team has taken over. Thank you, Dr. Tosin. Our webinars, it just looks like we are in the hall, you know, and it can only get better, right? It can only get better. Yesterday, we had a blast. Thank you. See everyone, Loveline and all of you. Yesterday, we had a blast. We actually had a blast. And I was speaking with our first speaker afterwards. You know, I'm sorry, I was speaking with someone about our first speaker, you know, that, you know, he told me 20 minutes, it's okay for me. I'll just do my thing in 20 minutes and all of that. And then I said to myself, that Mr. Andrew does not have an idea um, who we are here at the Center for Real Impact. We know how to collect, we know how to draw. And then when he started, then he went on and on and on, and then I'm like, yep, that's who we are. We know how to draw. We do really appreciate his time with us. Same thing with our second speaker, Miss Bukola did justice to the topic that we asked her to come share with us. And I want to believe that if we run with this, that we have learned from yesterday, we will have a tremendous 2024. What makes for success is not expensive. Actually, what makes for failure is more expensive than what makes for success. So when people are out there just jumping from one pillar to pole, trying to find out, and in my short time of doing this officially, I started doing this in the year 1999, officially holding the microphone and speaking to audiences. 1999, right? We had our first physical event, conference, as it were, in the year 2000. Then it was still much under the KJK Incorporated or something, I remember back then. And I used to crack this joke with our leaders, Dr. Tosin Ife, Dr. Teresa. Hey, it's our birthday today too. Happy birthday, Dr. Teresa. And everyone who celebrated their birthday in the month of January, you guys are just awesome, tremendous guys. Love you all from the depth of my heart. I know Dr. Tosin celebrated his birthday this year. Antonia, right? Did same too this month rather. And then Mr. Ife, January. We had a great January celebrants. So back to what I was saying, I would, say that to them jokingly back then, that I remember the first honorarium that we gave to our guest speaker. Yeah, happy birthday. I love you, right? Yeah, so we give our guest speaker 10 naira. That was the honorarium that we gave him. I remember we used the Anglican auditorium in Offa, Kwara State, Nigeria, West Africa. We put that 10 naira in the envelope and he was looking so, it was 10 naira that we gave him. And then the refreshment that we had at that event, I remember vividly. We had a team, I think we had a team of about 4 of us. So somebody brought one old toaster, and then someone brought loaf of bread. Somebody else brought butter, another person, we just, so while the speaker was speaking, I remember I spoke on how bad do you want it? And I've had the privilege of, teaching that particular topic several times. I spoke on how bad do you want it? And then the guest speaker, then Yomi Olufiade, spoke on crossing hurdles. And then we talked about interview hurdles and several other things. And then we had toast bread and tea as our refreshment, the sachet, tea, Milo, and all of those back then. And then we gave him an honorarium of 10 naira. So fast forward, into the recent years that we are now, and I asked for what the budget was going to look like for event this year in Nigeria in June, and then we were seeing some good six figures in some good millions, and then the UK event is coming up in April, I think April 20th. We should have the first batch of flyers going out, talking about our event in the UK in Leeds, particularly. So if you're in the UK and you're here, you have friends, loved ones in the UK, please reach out to them and let them know to take that day off so they can be a part of what we do. I will be there physically myself. I'll be there in Leeds in the UK on the 20th. And they sent the hall that we're going to use, we're still, they're trying to tidy it up. And then I asked for them to check a few other halls just as plan B, plan C, and all of that. And then I think the Radisson Blue Hotel, the hall is going to cost about 600 and something pounds. It's just interesting how in life, right? Just stay. That's the word. Stay. S-T-A-Y. Just stay in line. Stay in line. Stay in line. One day it's going to be your turn. I have never seen anyone, no matter how long you stay on the traffic, right? You have two options, either to turn back and go back home, or you stay in line, making sure that come rain or high waters, I get to my final destination. But no matter how long you stay in line, one day it's going to get to your turn. So the big question before us is this: what do I do between when I am in line and when it should be my turn? That's the big question. I was talking to a friend of mine, lovely friend of mine, over the week, and I was sharing with her about an experience that I had a few years ago back in Nigeria, and I am sure a lot of our leaders and members who's been here for a long time would have had me say that umpteenth time. How I, had a little challenge as to accommodation back in Abuja, Nigeria, in Africa. And I had to go sleep in the park, Jabi Park precisely, for about 3 days. And I would have to go to Durumi one of those days, I think the second day, to go have lunch. Excuse me, because I had just about 15 naira in my pocket, right? And I needed to save it to do few that. So I had to walk, from Jabi Park to Durumi behind Living Faith. I don't know if they're still there now. And how on my way back, I had a muzzle pool just right at the bridge, the stadium. Then they were still building the stadium. And then how that day there was a convoy passing. I think it was a convoy of Clinton when he came to visit the then president of Nigeria. I think it was Obasanjo, I guess. I can't remember, Yar'Adua, who was the president of Nigeria back then. And when I got that muzzle pool, I was in tears. I was really like, I read books, and then I was very heavy on positive affirmations. I had this exercise book full of positive affirmations that I make every day. You can't catch me without a book. You understand? Back then, I understand these principles. I'm walking these principles, but it seemed not to be working. What's going on? Not knowing that it would have to first take roots downwards before it begins to grow upwards. So all those years were the years where the things I kept learning and I kept, instilling into my subconscious was taking roots downwards. And then I told myself, I said, one day I'm going to also fly on this flyover in a convoy, not of me driving someone, but of me being driven. And then if anybody was close by me that time, you probably look at me and say, there goes the dreamer. It's called the power of self-talk. We're talking about becoming and how you can make 2024 your best year ever yet. Because, you know, we have many more years ahead of us, and all of those years will be better than the previous. Just as this year will be better than last year and many years before now for every one of us on this call. So, fast forward. A few years back, I came into Nigeria, and then Ralph and a few Ife and a few other people. I think that Tosin was on that. Yeah, he was on that. He was on that train that day, and they came with cars, and then with the helots and the convoy, and you know the siren and all of those. I mean, you all know me that I'm not too. I like to just be on. And I'm just quiet and looking at it. I remember that day. Right behind the seat there, I had tears dropping on my face. But I mean, Ralph was sat on the front. He didn't notice all of those. And I remembered, my mind flashed back to many years ago before then when I made that statement and just kept walking towards it, putting in the principles in the ground, applying the strategies and all of those. And these are the things that we teach here at the Center for Real Impact. They are not words that would drop down from the sky. They are basic words, basic principles that look so mundane, that look so simple to apply. But then these are the principles that makes for success, that makes greatness what it is. The things we heard yesterday, the things we've heard over the years coming thus far, if only you can apply 20% of those, just 20%. As much as I desire for all of us to apply even much more of those principles, because we're all becoming. I'm also becoming. Every one of us on this call, we're becoming. It's a process. It's a journey. Like we've all heard and, you know, saying that success is a journey. It's not a destination. So when you hear the stories of success, or you hear the stories of people who who's gone through the survival phase and now entering into their significance phase, it looks like, hey, stop all of those talks and all of those things. But the truth of the matter is this, that in those stories are principles. For those of you who know how big I am with relationship association, and let me give you an instance. I don't know if some of us would know. I think Dr. Tosin, if Victor, Taufik, a few of us would know. Elvis is one of our old time. I think I used him as an example in one of our most recent leadership training. Elvis is in Maryland. Elvis came into the US yesterday, drove all the way from Canada, 8 hours from Toronto to Canada. We were together, you know, yesterday evening. We were together this morning. We went to church together, took pictures with ID Kabasa, who is also in town, introduced him to Kabasa, and we had conversations and all of those. Coming back again, went to DC, is going to be on his way soon here, so we can have dinner together and all of that, and then drives back to Canada tomorrow. Another 8 hours back to another country, you know, and driving back, you know, from driving back home earlier today, I was lost in thoughts about where we are coming from 20 years ago, and then where we are today, and the journey where a lot of people had to drop when they got to their bus stop, and a lot of people dropped and joined back again, and we're now on the train together. And then we have some other persons who's been with us from that 20 years, and we're still in on this journey together. Now, the point I'm trying to make is this, that where you are now is not your final destination. Where you are now is just, or could just be, a bend. So you don't want to name a bend your end. You don't want to do that. And then build a castle, build a reason, build an excuse, build a story around what is supposed to be just a bend on your journey to greatness, on your journey to success. Your best years are ahead of you, they are not behind you. Regardless of your experience, your background, where you are coming from, or your age, you can still take that course. You can still do that exams. You can still do that master's. You can still get that MBA. You can still get that PhD. You can still start that business. You can stop that business. You can start a new business. You can expand that idea. It's just limitless. That you are the backside somewhere in Congo, or somewhere in Senegal, somewhere in Ethiopia or Somalia, or the back end of Lagos, or somewhere that's not even on the map. That's where you started from. Doesn't mean that that is where you're going to stay or end your life. There is more to you, and that's the whole idea behind what I'm going to talk about in the next few minutes. There's more to you. I know someone is on this call listening, and it's just like, what next for me in 2024? I put all my energy in 2021. I did all I could in 22. I made all the trials in 2023. This is 2024. As long as you have breath in your nostrils, there is hope. And even though hope is not a strategy, you've had me say that a few times, hope is a part of the ingredients that we need to keep pushing. But there are certain things that you should know and you should do behind just hoping. And that's why we do all that we do. That's why we teach all that we teach. That's why we bring speakers. So today I want to talk a little bit about something that looks not too usual, and something we do virtually every time and every day, but we do not know the weight of that thing to our results, our financial results, our relational results, our results cut across all aspects of our life, our health as well, and all of those. We do it every day, but we don't even know the impact. Someone said that one who looks around him is intelligent. One who looks around him is intelligent. He says, but one who looks within him is wise. The one who looks around him, looking at what's happening around you, to make decisions, to take actions. Said such person is intelligent. And then, but one who looks within him is wise. So how about when we have a combination of one who looks around and one who looks within, and find a way to balance this equation, around me, within me. The big question is, and I want you to take a posture tonight, a calm posture, get yourself a cup of water and just listen. You might not even want to take notes, you just want to listen. I was speaking with someone earlier during the week, the last week, and I told her, I said that you'll be shocked at what I want to talk about across all our platforms during the Real Impact Summit, because we have about 3 already established. I think we have one more date coming. I know we have UK, we have the US, we have Nigeria, we have Canada. So we have 4, excuse me. And then we have one that is yet to be established, which is the one in Dubai. And all of this Real Impact Summit, I'm going to be at all of these centers, all of these cities to have this event. And I said to her, I said, if you'll be shocked at what I want to talk about. And she was like, man, yeah. I said, my topic is going to be around happiness. Happiness as a tool. I just feel that life and experience of not just myself, but having been privileged to stay around people at the high level, people who are upcoming, and friends, colleagues, like you heard Mr. Andrew from yesterday spoke to us. And the things I have learned in conversations with all of these people, the upcomings, people who I am privileged and authorized to call my prodigies, and then people that I'm privileged to call coaches or my mentor, and all of those, I have found out that what we chase are the things that we already have, and the things we are meant to chase or go after that makes for true and solid, successful life are the things that we ignore. So I'll be talking about something that has to do with happiness. Happiness as it connects to your profession, as it connects to your business, as it connects to your going global, as it connects to you as an individual. And I hope you look forward to that. We live in a world of thoughts more than reality. We live in a world of thoughts. THOUGHTS. Thoughts more than reality. We have millions of thoughts, if not multi-millions of thoughts, that go through our system meaning our body, head to toe, our mind and all of that. Through our mind and through our body and our system, I'll prefer to call it system, we have thoughts that go through multi-millions of thoughts that go through our system than the ones or the things that we touch physically, or the reality that we live in. Follow me closely. I'm going to stop at the time when I should stop, and then would find a way to, continue from here some other time if we can. But I bet you that if you can run with the things that we heard yesterday, today, and then if you can also watch the Becoming 1.0, it's going to help you connect to 2.0, and then would help you connect to 3.0, because we're going to have a series of Becoming this year. Someone said, Sydney Banks, that's his name, said that thought is not reality. He said, but yet it is through thoughts that our realities are created. Did you get that? Thoughts are not reality, but it is through these thoughts that our realities are created. We live in a world of thoughts more than we live in a world of reality. So you would find out that people live through our perception of the world. Pay attention closely. Don't be distracted. I'm going to talk about distraction too in a bit. Just pay close attention to what I'm trying to say. It's mental, it's psychological, it's deep, but very basic. Very basic. One of the things I have trained over the years and intentionally told myself is how to make complex things, how to communicate complex things or things that looks complex in a very minute, very detailed and simple form that my 5-year-old daughter can understand. People live through their perception of the world. You live through your perception of the world. Your perception of me, my perception of you, your perception of money, my perception of pain. So, and these perceptions, they differ. We have a good number of people on this call tonight or afternoon, wherever you're watching from. But every one of us have different perceptions as regarding. Let me give you a let's look at this together. Imagine if I ask 50 of us now on this call to tell me what money means to them. Like, Ife, how are you? What does money mean to you? Loveline, what does money mean to you? You know, Patience, what does money mean to you? And I ask every one of us, you would find out that our definition of money will differ. We'll get different answers. But then money is technically the same thing. Money is the same thing, right? Just giving you an example. This is $10. I have $10 here now. So this is $10. But then how everyone on this call will interpret this would differ. But technically, it's the same thing. $10 in my hands is $10 in everybody's hands, technically. But the meaning and the interpretation of this would differ cut across everyone holding the same currency in their hands. To some, it could mean freedom. To some, it could mean time, because you're being paid where you are, maybe per hour. Some of folks in the UK or in the US and all of that. To some, it's opportunity. To some, this same money is security. To some, it is peace of mind. And then to some also, it could be evil. To some, it could be greed. And this same money is the reason why a lot of people commit crimes and do stuff that they are not meant to do. But then at the end of the day, it's still money. Perception. Perception. I'm driving this somewhere, and I hope I get there very soon. So the meaning, and I'll put it this way, thinking, the meaning that we give to an event, to a scenario, to a situation, to an experience, to a business, to a job, to a relationship, to an opportunity, the thinking, the meaning that we give to such an event or such a situation is what determines how we ultimately will turn out. The meaning that we give to such experiences, relationship, and all of those would determine how we ultimately turn out. Of course, it will start with a feeling. The thoughts becomes thinking, because thoughts is different from thinking. They are two different things. I would hopefully I can explain what the difference are. At the end of the day, what we turn out to become, this time, December 31st, 2024, will be as a result of how we have interpreted, perceived, translated all the scenarios, events, experiences, opportunities, relationships that we encounter. And that's why I thought for us to have this discussion early enough so that we become conscious and that's why if you take your minds back a little bit to the things I was saying before now, building up, talking about perception, talking about my experiences, where we are coming from thus far, is so that you can understand how events, experiences, negative or positive, how you interpret these things and how they help to either propel you into successes or keep you stagnant. And you celebrate it, keep you as a mediocre, or even draw you back into failure. In the process of thinking, in the process of perceiving, in the process of interpreting these things, what Mr. Andrew talked about yesterday, value, starts coming to play. Information, knowledge, value. And how we move from all of these things, all of these phases, how we transit from one of these phases to the other phase, and how at the end of the day, the same people listening to the same person, hearing the same teaching, receiving the same nuggets, counsel, information, will turn out at the end of the day different. It's amazing. Don't you think so? It's amazing. So at the end of the day, it is not the events that happen in our lives that's the issue. It's not the events. It is how we have interpreted them. Thoughts, thinking, outcome. Thoughts, thinking, outcomes. There are three different things. But one is constant, which is the outcome. The thought is constant. The outcome is constant. But what is not constant, sorry. Put on the heater, it was a little bit cold when I came in. The one that is not constant, that determines the outcome that is constant, is thinking. There you have perception, you have interpretations, and all of those. So it is not the event that happens in our lives, but our interpretation of these events. It's what turns out as outcome. So someone has an encounter with an information, and then she's like, that's how they talk too much and say all sorts, wanna be, do a B, be a B, but the B, and all of that, and then whatever. Just live your life. Just keep doing what you are doing passionately. Keep at it. That's all. And then another person gets the information and be like, Now, you see that place of that, that's where the change comes. That's where the transformation comes. That place of, wow, okay, I get it now. That's where the transformation comes. And that's where a lot of people have missed it in life. That's where a lot of people missed it. Because, guys, our outcome does not always come from external events, not by all the things that has happened around us or to us, negative or positive. Our outcome, which some people translate as maybe feelings and all of that, but I'll call it outcome. Our outcome comes from our own thinking about the event, about the scenario, about the experience. Thinking. You would have heard me say this 1,001 times, and I will not be tired of saying it, that every man is a product of his thoughts. Every man is a product of his thoughts. Now, that thought, put it in bold letter, that thought is not the major issue. The major issue is that our thoughts are constant. You have no control over thoughts, but you have control over thinking. But thinking comes from the thoughts. So a lot of people are on this call right now. You are hearing the same thing everybody is hearing, but how we are processing it will differ. Yesterday, Mr. Andrew said something, and a few people repeated the things that he said, but in different ways, and I was smiling. Why? Because the statement came to everyone, and it came as a thought. And then when it got into your subconscious, you processed it, filtered it, and interpreted it as you. So how Mr. Ife would interpret it, how Dr. Tosin would interpret it, how Loveline would interpret it, how Antonia would interpret it, would differ, but it's the same word. The same word. I know someone is getting it already, probably just already have an understanding of where I'm going to tonight. So what am I saying? That it is possible to change our outcome by changing our thinking. It is possible to change our outcome by changing our thinking. Now, I know we had a match that played yesterday, Nigeria and Cameroon. That same match, some other persons will come with what did they even play? When Nigeria and Cameroon match played, what did they even play? What was that? It was just luck. That one just came, the keeper just punched it, and then it was luck. Then the second one, it just happened. I mean, and then now that statement was born out of a process. It was born out of a process. There was a scenario, an experience, the match, but then he chose through the thinking process, through the internal filter, to interpret it as luck. Meanwhile, some other person saw that same match and be like,
You're muted, sir. We can't hear you, sir.
all right, can you hear me now? Sorry.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I kind of dropped. So I'm sure you guys heard when I was talking about the football, right? Was that where you heard me last?
Yes, sir.
Okay, awesome. So how we interpreted that match would differ. So what am I saying in essence? That I want to introduce to us today what I call superior thinking. Superior thinking that results into superior outcomes. It is first within, and that was where I was going. That you've had me say that 1,001 times. The statement by Dr. Samani, where he says that it is first within, then without. I heard that word some 20-something years ago, many years ago, when he was still doing that Success Power radio program back then and all of that. He would always say that it is first within, then without. It is first within, then without. Every time I come to have the privilege of sharing with any audience this season, that's going to be one of my major focus and emphasis. Because a lot of us, because we have this rush of information, like Andrew said yesterday, lots of information, lots of activities going around, lots of noise, and more still coming. Newsflash. Don't you even see it? If you have the Netflix and the Prime Video, I have all of those. Before you are done with one video, 3 is out. Before you are done with the second one, 4 is out. Everywhere is full. So the attention is stronger on the outside now than on the inside. So the time that people take to process information that is meant to become knowledge to them and an outcome, a result, is low. So everybody now, and then with the AI thing, it's so fast now. So my word to us tonight, as we become in 2024, is the call to give attention. To give attention to what's going on the inside of you. It's very important. So I'm saying that our outcome do not come from external events, but it comes from our own thinking, our own process, our own processing. Oh, how do I want to tell you guys how this has helped not just me, but a lot of people that I have read about. So we can change our outcome in 2024 by changing how we think and process stuff. Someone said, he said, I think and think and think that I have thought myself out of happiness 1,000,000 times, but never once did I think myself into it. I have thought myself out 1,000,000 times of happiness than I have thought myself into it. And when that little drive diminishes or dies, it affects your outcome. You become like a walking zombie, just waking up, doing what needs to be done to keep soul and body together, go back to bed. And I have a lot of people on this call who are like that. Wake up in the morning, keep soul and body together, what's gonna be, and then get back in the night. Oh, thank you, God. Baba, thank you, God. And then the next morning, again. But I'm asking us tonight, this afternoon, whatever time zone you are, to take time after this global webinar in the month of January to begin to ask yourself certain pertinent questions and then begin to become conscious of how you translate thoughts into thinking and the content of the things, because thinking is like a milling machine that the corn or the millet or the rice in its solid form is the thoughts. It comes right now as I'm talking to you. What you are getting in your mind, in your brain, are thoughts. Do you understand? When you watch a TV program or you read a book, at that spontaneous moment, what comes to you are thoughts. You don't have control over those. Now, what you have control over is what determines your outcome. And that's the machine. That's the milling machine. That's what translates the wood into paper, into chairs, into desk. So when you look at a tree, what you see is different from what a Chinese man would see, is different from what a Lebanese man would see, is different from, it just differs. Did you get that this evening? This is home for me. So it's a difference when you are speaking as a guest on another platform, someone else's platform. It's different from when you are at home on your own platform and sharing. So this is home. This is our platform. This is my platform. This is your platform. And so that's why I'm talking this way. Because at the end of the day, which is December, is our end of the day, as it were, for 2024. Your result, your outcome, I want it to be as a product of the things that you have learned from here, of course, amongst other things. So what am I saying? That what you watch, the music you listen to, the books you read, the social media contents you consume, and all of those, when they come to you like a barrage, they come as thoughts. Just as I am talking to you now, a lot of thoughts are coming through your mind or to your mind. But then after this event, after you are done watching or you are done listening to that movie or that music or reading that book and all of those, now the machine starts to work. You can call it the mind, you can call it the brain, it starts to work. Now, that's when what it produces becomes different from what Rehoboth's own would be like. It will be different from what Damilola's own would look like. Why? Because as much as the thoughts came to us, at the same time, the machine now processes it and then produces different outcomes. Then you begin to have inferior outcomes. Then you begin to have mediocre outcomes. And then you begin to have superior outcomes, all from the same thoughts. Did you get that? In other words, thoughts are things. As invisible as they are things. The process of translating thoughts into things is thinking, and what you do at that time, what you permit at that time, determines the outcome. At the three different cadres I just mentioned: inferior, mediocre, superior. And that's why you'll be like, oh my God, I've had this thing before, but I never heard it this way. No, you heard it that way, but because after you heard it and it went through the machine, you did not allow the machine to do the job as it should. So it came as inferior. And that's why you need to listen to it again and again, so that that same machine can reprocess and reprocess it to give you an average or a superior result. Do you know that? All conflicts, right? All conflicts is derived from misunderstanding. All conflicts is derived from misunderstanding. The war that we see, Russia, the one going on in where's that again? Israel versus which country again is there? Gaza. All conflicts is derived from misunderstanding. Now, that word misunderstanding, there are two. Actually, thinking about it now, I can actually say there are three. Understanding. So there is an understanding in place, but then when the words or the action or the moves passes through the machine, the thinking process switches all of those. And now this is where the issue is. Most of the time, when we access information, right, it comes into our system, our mind, to meet something there. It doesn't always come to meet our minds empty. It comes in there to meet something. Now, what it meets, this is deep. What it means, it meets, differs. It differs. And so that mixture produces the outcome. And the outcome becomes either an understanding or a misunderstanding, then conflict arises. So, thoughts, they're coming. Thoughts are coming right now. They are coming. They came yesterday. They came while you were sleeping. That's why you wake up and I had this dream. They're all coming. Thoughts are coming. And then you begin to try to think about it, try to process it. And then, okay, I think this is what it means. it just might not be what it means. It just might not even be anything. It just might just be probably you slept hungry. It just probably might mean that you slept tasty and then you found yourself in the river and you were drinking a lot of water. I mean, I'm not saying that's what it meant, but I'm just saying that everything that happens to us in life and that would happen in 2024 will be as a process of this that I'm talking to you about today. All the accesses, all the opportunities, all the doors that would open or close, the opportunities that we would hit and the ones we would miss comes down to this. Someone says something to you, and then you go back, and then you start to process it. And my word to us tonight, or the time zone, is that now you want to be conscious about how you engage this principle called thinking. That's what I'm saying. That's the summary of all I'm saying today. Because you will get a lot of opportunities and privileges, and you will miss a lot by this process. For example, let me take one of the things that Ms. Bukola shared with us yesterday about the workplace professionalism and all of that. Like, I greeted him when he came to the office today. I greeted him, and then the way he answered me, and he just said, "Yeah, welcome." Yeah. So what do you want him to do? He should stand up, hug you, give you a peck, kiss you on the cheeks, and start asking about everything that has happened to you over the weekend. Is that exactly what that environment is meant for at that time? As much as we teach for, you know, the workplace ethics and etiquettes, the workplace culture and all of those, now somebody holds on to how, I'm talking of workplace now. There are different, I mean, this is a different scenario, like office. She is the, or he is the branch manager or director or CEO. You were employed there to do a job. Can you just please make sure you do your job as you ought to do your job, and then know how to major on the majors and minor on the minors? That's my call to us tonight. That you learn how to use this tool. And I'm going to wrap up. I have a whole lot more I wanted to share with us. I'm going to find a place to wrap up here because I want us to stop exactly at the time we should stop tonight. So let's look at the difference a little bit more between thoughts and thinking, and then we'll wrap it up somewhere, and then probably take one or two questions. So thoughts, what are thoughts? Thoughts are mental raw materials. That's all I'm going to say. That's just going to be my interpretation of that. Mental raw materials. Mental raw materials. They are mental raw materials from which we use to create everything in the world. Thoughts. Mental raw materials that we use to create everything in the world. So that's it. Raw materials thrown at you and at us every time. Let me give an instance. Many years ago, I would watch CNN, you know, Al Jazeera back then, and all of those, and people watching. Do you know there was a time like I would watch all of this Stephen Harvey shows, Oprah Winfrey shows, and I'm watching with friends, and everybody is, oh yeah, they're laughing, and all of that, and I'm smiling. Thoughts are coming from that show, but how we are all interpreting the show differs. I'm looking at why did he, or some of these teachers and preachers and all of those, I'm watching them. Why did he loosen his buttons in between the teaching. Why did he take off his jacket? Oh, why is he walking that way? That's what I'm looking. Oh, look at how he smiled. Oh, this is how he talks. Okay. I'm watching behind the scenes of how they created the shows. Some of us will watch movies, and then when they start showing that behind the scene thing, how they acted those movies, you just turn off. I'm done with the movies. You know why? What we are looking for is different. The thoughts came, but how we process the thoughts to get results will differ. What I'm saying is this, that the difference between you and I, and the difference between you and the next person on this call today, or the difference between you and your December 31st, 2024, would majorly be a product of how you translate and process these thoughts. Because of these thoughts that come as raw materials are the tools and the things you would use to create your world in 2024. Thoughts take no effort. It's not going to force itself on you. It just happens. And like I said earlier in the beginning, that we cannot control what thoughts pop into our mind. We can't control it. But then thinking, on the other hand, is more like the act of processing thoughts. Actually, thinking about, I'm trying to find a way to simplify this. Thinking about your thoughts. Thinking about your thoughts is what produces the outcomes we are talking about. Actually, thinking is thinking about your thoughts. I don't know, whatever, how you want to interpret it. Thinking, right, is thinking about your thoughts. It takes it, and then, so that's where the issue is. Now, let me tell you something that happened from years ago. I was talking about very successful man back in Africa. Very successful, like top 3 in his sphere of influence in the world. He's from Africa. And he was being interviewed by a group of people, media houses, and they came to visit him in his house. I mean, this is the first-hand information because I know someone who is close to him. And he said they should come. And he took them to a room in his house. And I'm sure he was kind of just imitating also his mentor, role model, and all of that. So he took them to that room, and then what they saw was an empty room with a desk at the center and a chair and a light. This light that drops from the room. I don't know what they call it for those of us who are engineers. Can you tell me? That light that comes down like a chandelier, right? It came down close to the table, like the one I have here now, you know. And then the whole room was dark except for that light shining on the table. And then he had permanently one pen and a paper. That's all he has in the room. And the room is big. No TV, nothing. And he said, everything you see me do and achieve is produced here. This is the manufacturing company. This is the factory. And then they were looking at him like in shock, probably waiting to see a machine grinding something and all of that. What was he trying to say? Thinking produced everything that you saw. So when I'm done here, then action comes on it. It becomes easier for me to now produce the physical manifestation of the things that I have produced. So oh Lord, have me tonight. Everything you see in life is produced twice. Everything, look around you, look around you. Everything you can see physically is produced twice. You and I know that. For the architects in the house, you understand what I'm trying to say. There is first the one produced in the thinking room, wherever it is called, whatever you do, and then another one produced now in the factory. So the architects have the building structure and all of that. They put it in 3D and all of those. So they put it on the table, you look at it, and everybody, okay, yeah, this house, this one should be here. Why is this here? Why is this pillar here? They have finished the building. Then they swing into action to now actually finish the building. That's how to get results in 2024. Now, yesterday, Mr. Andrew churned out a lot of, websites, Harvard, EDX. He sent me the link today, and I'm gonna post it to the group, to the chat. Later on today, I'm going to send it to the office actually, and then they would decide how they want to, distribute that link. Some of us had copied that link, and then you just click in, you just want to do everything. It doesn't work that way. So let me jump quickly and just wrap it up here. Chris, we might not need to talk about the table I asked you to get before. Just put it down somewhere. We'll look at it some other time. I want to talk about urgent, not urgent, important, not important, and how to narrow in to the one that is important, and the strategies, the principles you can put into narrowing into that, to helping you get results much more than you are getting. So I'll wrap it up this way. There is something I want to address, which I mentioned earlier, and but before I say that, let me say this. Sorry, there's so many things popping up in my head that I want to. So Albert Einstein, right? He said something about outcomes, results. He said that we cannot solve problems by using the same level of consciousness. Now, underline the word consciousness, because thoughts come consciously or unconsciously. Thoughts will keep coming. Even as I speak, thoughts are coming into me. And that's why I'm doing like this. Now, my process of doing like this is me thinking. Now, I'm so sorry, guys. The line kept dropping me off. I don't know why. But I'm back. I'm sure you all can hear me. So let me wrap it up here, and then we'll call it. I just want to say this. Just listen to me closely, please. He said we cannot solve problems by using the same level of consciousness we were as at when we created them. Talking about consciousness, talking about our thinking, our mind, how we process these things. I'm sure you all know that. You've had us say it several times, and you've also read it before, talking about insanity, which is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. You just might have to think about how you can change the strategies at which you are doing the things you are currently doing. You might want to change the color of your something, the packaging of your products, or the way you market or you sell, yourself as an individual. Like I was telling someone some few days ago, we're talking about interviews, and I said to him, I said, I think I'm good at interviews. Like when I'm being interviewed for projects to join a team and all of that, like work interviews, like project interviews, I think I'm good at interviews. I think if I coach people on interviews, they will do very well. I think I'm good at it. and it's not like statement of pride, it's what I have seen happen, right? Over and over again. Like people go for interviews and they're like, oh my God, they came on me and I could not. No, 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 no. The toughest of interviews, I did one recently, extremely tough. When you see people old enough to be your father and grandfather, and you see titles at the front of their names, Professor Smith Stone, Professor, Doctor, this, and then they're old people, and then the people that put their glasses here and they're just looking at you like this, and all of that. And even at that, we smash it. Interviews that you do, and you don't even know what the outcome is going to be like. Anyway, bottom line, what am I trying to say? I'm saying that it's time for us to become more conscious about how we process thoughts. This is where anxiety comes in. This is where depression comes in. This is where expectations unmet comes in. I have, a totally different discussion around expectations, totally different discussion around time. Like I was going to smash some things that I even thought about time management, that I found out that, okay, this is a better approach to it. But now the point I want to make right now, before we call it a day, is this. Old, negative, backward thinking would keep us old, negative, and backward. I'll say it again. Old, negative, and backward thinking would keep us old, negative, and backward. And the key word here, the buzzword here, is still the same word, thinking. Some of us would rather not think at all than think. And then some of us are becoming even more conscious of how we think, how we process our thoughts. And that's why we aim for superior outcomes, because we engage in superior thinking. And the core enemy of all of this, I have been saying, is the word distraction. Distraction by the pain that the experience has brought, distraction of the outcome, negative or positive, the pain or the gain that the experience before now has brought, now holds us back from making superior decisions. And superior decisions leads to superior outcomes that is born out of superior thinking. You see how all of this connects? So distraction is a one major destroyer. Distraction. We can spend another 1 hour talking about distraction, but that's not what we're going to do. We're going to talk about distraction some other time. We have external distraction. We have internal distraction. You see, external distraction can be controlled. The noise from outside, the noise from the TV, the noise from social media. You can decide to turn off, put your phone on DND. You can decide to determine when you respond to emails and all of those. And you know what? One of the things I learned last year about distraction is that it's a survival mechanism that keeps people safe. Pick your phone. Let me just chill a bit, Jerry. And then chill a bit, 30 minutes, 1 hour. Are you serious? Sinzu. Zadi. Yay. Ooh. 2 hours. 3 hours. coming together at the end of the day. This is just an example, several other things. Even internal distractions. You can lie down in your bed and you are romancing and sleeping over an experience, which is true and genuine. All of these things are real, they are genuine. And then you take the whole day, whole week, whole month, a chunk of your life, thinking about what is meant to be buried. Distraction is survival mechanism that keeps you safe. Comfort zone. That's why when you hear people say, leave your comfort zone. I know Mr. Andrew talked about that yesterday, about comfort zone and all of those. Distraction keeps you in your comfort zone. Because everything, see, distractions are not always going to be negative. There are distractions that comes like positive. There are distractions that come genuine. Yeah, that's the right word. The distraction that comes genuine, because it keeps us happy, it keeps us relaxed, it keeps us within that comfort zone. But the result we are looking for in 2024 is beyond that. Maybe not all of us, but a few of us on this call tonight, but wherever the time zone is. So we have external distractions, we have internal distractions, but that's not what I'm going to talk about today. Earlier this morning, we had a session, with ID Kabasa. He's around, and he said something that's about distraction that I just want to quickly mention. He said, he defined distraction. He said distraction are other attractions that takes your attention away from the focus. And I'm like, that's true. That connected what I was going to say today. He said distractions are other attractions. So it's attractive, it's beautiful, it could just be sweet. There are other attractions that takes your attention away from the focus. So you want to be conscious of all of those. You want to be conscious of all of those in 2024. I hope I've been able to, set your minds. So, and that's why I didn't come here to say number one, number two, number three. I was going to talk about expectations, and I had 12 points that I came up with during the week. 12 things you can do to manage expectations and not get overwhelmed in 2024. Just so many things to talk about, but we don't have all the time. So thank you so much, guys. And I hope that you will be able to go back, to your drawing board and be able to just sleep over these things that I have said, watch them again, and ask yourself important questions that would help you as you look at your goals, as you make your plans, as you step out, as you go into that relationship, or as you try to harness that connection as opportunity starts to come, and you begin to apply the things that you learned, courses you want to take, programs you want to do, and all of those, you want to ask yourself, as you go through that machine, as you go through that process, is this superior thinking that would bring for me superior outcomes and superior results in 2024? That's my expectation of everyone. Everyone, Taiwo, Julia, everybody, that this year you would have superior results, superior outcomes. That's why you read books, you attend events, webinars, you are in 20 different WhatsApp groups, distractions everywhere, and you try as much as possible to just get a hold of these things, but you seem not to be able to get a hold of them because of crowd, your machine is clogged. It's clogged. And it has to stop now. Thank you so much, guys. I don't know if we can take 2 questions. If not, we just call it a day. We can go into the WhatsApp group and then have those conversations. If you want to be a member of the Center for Real Impact, there's a link that will be shared with you today. Click on that link and someone from the office is going to reach out to you. Next month, February, we're going to be having an event for singles and married. It's going to be a webinar, and then we also have physical events as well, I guess, next month, where that will be communicated by the various leaders of your different chapters, and then the national director would make the national for Nigeria. But the webinar is global for everyone, cut across all our platforms from Germany, UK, Dubai, the US, and all of those. Would have a meeting, a webinar, global webinar on the, I think, 17th or so with Tunde Dada. He's going to be here. He's going to talk to the singles amongst us, help you answer your questions. Single, ready to get married, how you can get, connected to your partner. He's an awesome man when it comes to topics like that. And then he's going to talk to the married amongst us as well on how we can harness our marriages. It's just going to be a great webinar that you don't want to miss. Thank you so much, guys. Please, the word for you tonight is be thoughtful. Be thoughtful. Be thoughtful. Be thoughtful. And make sure your thoughts, your thinking process is superior. And the only way you can get to that point of superior thinking is when you stop consuming what normal people consume. When you stop allowing junks and, I said something during the webinar in last year in the US, the summit. I said, if you eat what giants eat, you'll become a giant. You're right. But the truth of the matter is that it's not what we eat, actually. It's how our system, processes the things that we eat, right? So what are you eating? You understand? I take time to think, because your thoughts will determine your decisions, your decisions will determine your outcome. You understand? So you have to be intentional about how you process thoughts. It's going to reduce conflicts. It's going to reduce how you fight with people. It's going to help you harness your relationship with people. You will know who to relate with, who not to relate with, what to say, what not to say, what to wear, what not to wear. It's going to just help you cut across all ramifications of life, and then it translates into, like, you hold money in your hand and you're asking yourself, you making your budget. How many days did you even spend doing your budget for 2024? All of these things, it comes with accurate, superior thinking. That's what I'm talking about. It doesn't come by jumping from one WhatsApp group, from one event to another. Stay in line. Stay in line. Engage this thing. It works. It works. It works. Thank you so much, guys. I don't know who is taking over now.
Good evening, tribe. Every man is a product of his thoughts. I mean, this indeed is a profound session. So on behalf of the Real Tribe, I want to take a moment to express our heartfelt appreciation to our founder and mentor for his inspiring teaching today. Sir, you've been the driving force behind the Real platform, consistently guiding us towards personal and professional growth. Your insights today were not just timely, but also deeply impactful, reflecting your commitment to our success. Thank you, KJK, for your dedication to our growth and for being the visionary leader that propels us forward. So our team and to you, here's to a fantastic 2024 with the Real platform. Thank you so much. And please, you want to say something?
No, thank you. That's the state coordinator for Enugu, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Because you didn't introduce yourself, I didn't know who was talking. I just guessed from your voice. All right, awesome.
Oh, my apologies.
Kachi, right?
Yes, Kachi.
Awesome. That's cool.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So to cap it all, this is how we talk. I'm a change maker, a trailblazer. My thoughts are positively impactful. I grow daily. I become the delight of my organization, city, state, and country. My gift find international expression, for I am valuable, indispensable, and continually relevant. I am an asset and not a liability. I am a change agent. I make change happen. I am knowledge-driven. I am action-driven. I have the wisdom needed per time to navigate through life. I am stable and soar above challenges and continue to make waves even in challenging times. The real platform becomes 1,000 times better, more influential as we grow in leaps and in bounds until we become very great. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let's have a wonderful evening. And if you learned anything today, let's go back to our WhatsApp groups, and just let people know what you have learned and let them know that we had a great time today. Thank you so much. Media, over to you. Bye.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Rao. I know that voice.
Mix Niger Entertainment.
I was walking past when I saw that Delilah on my way to work last December. How could I not remember? Her body too bad, they make man to stagger. What's your name or your number? The girl you find out you got that. And she's 22, maybe a fool. See the things you do, yeah. Say she works with Shell, I no pay. But anytime I call, she no day. Make a search for Insta, no way. I rise to call Patriot, I obey. I started screaming, obey. Anything you cost, I go pay. I'm begging you, no do me deja vu. Distance between our hearts, oh. Take all my money, take all my money. I don't care. I go give them to you, for you. Take all my money, take all my money. I don't care. I go give them to you, for you. Every day, make I check your calendar. Your beauty bad, I surrender. I surrender, no delay for this matter. What's your name and your number? Let me introduce myself proper. I don't see you from a bird's eye view. With the things you do, I go turn over. Say she works with Shell, I no pay. But anytime I come, she no day. Make a search for Insta, no way. I rise up and try to obey. I started screaming, obey. Anything it cost, I go pay. I'm begging you, no do me deja vu. Distance between our hearts, oh. Take all my money, take all my